I've had the Canon C70 for over a year now, and it's been incredible for me. The C70 impresses me almost every time I shoot with it. The depth of color, the dynamic range, the versatility of style is unmatched by any camera I've ever used. Plus, it pairs so nicely with my shooting style, and I love the fact that it can be my run and gun rig, I can take it as my main camera in documentaries, plus I can use it in narrative pieces with very little changes to the setup. But with all of these other cameras coming out, I wanted to talk about why I think the Canon C70 is still the king of entry-level cinema cameras. Canon released the C70 in September of 2020 with a ton of features that blew me away, and they blew me away mostly because these features basically cannibalized some of the other cinema cameras. Features like 4K 120 in 10-bit XF AVC, a touchscreen menu system. They went with the R-style lens mount system, which means that you can have the option of using R mount glass or E mount glass with the converter. It also has the same 35mm sensor as the Canon C300 with all that dynamic range. And since it's a 35mm sensor, that means we can use APS-C glass or use a speed booster to get a full frame equivalent with the added bonus of gaining a stop of light. We can also use PL mount cinema lenses with the converter as well, and that's huge because traditionally you'd have to swap out the E mount system to install a PL mount system, and then you're stuck with that. I've found myself shooting a lot of different scenarios with this camera, everything from handheld run and gun to fully built out film sets. In every situation, this camera always blows me away. For most projects, I use the XF AVC file format in 4K Log 2. Not because the RAW format has some kind of crazy workflow, it doesn't, but because RAW files are bigger than I'm used to, and the projects that I work on generally don't require RAW files. With that being said, the RAW in the Canon C70 is quite user-friendly and relatively manageable compared to other cameras, and this is where the fact that this is a true 4K camera and not a 6K camera or an 8K camera is an actual benefit. Because the RAW files are true 4K and you still get that 12-bit crispness and color without bogging down the editing machine in post with 8K files. And since the RAW files are recorded internally, if I did want to switch to RAW, it's as simple as going into the menu and switching to one of the 3 flavors of RAW that it offers. One big reason I bought the C70 is because of the internal ND filters. I do a lot of shooting outdoors, so I need ND filters all the time. The filters on the C70 go in increments of 2 stops, up from 2 all the way to 10 stops of ND. Once you get to 6 stops, it starts giving you a warning about stacking filters, but I've never really noticed any color shift at all. The size of the C70 is perfect because it can be used straight out of the box, just add a lens. Or it can be built out as a cinema rig and it works great either way. It's heavy enough to get solid handheld footage with just a battery in it. It can be balanced on a gimbal fairly easily, which is my favorite event style rig. And because it has a dedicated time code input, clean HDMI output, 4 microphones that can all be recorded simultaneously while recording video, it's a great addition to either a single cam or a multicam film set. Speaking of audio, the preamps on the C70 aren't amazing, but they're pretty good. They're way better than your average DSL or mirrorless camera, and I'd use them in professional audio capture, especially in documentary style films. However, if you're looking for the most pristine audio, you'll need to go with something like the Sound Devices Mix Pre 6. Now, because the C70 has been out for a couple years now, you can find them used for really good prices. I've seen them as low as $4,000 US, and new, they're going for around $5,500. If you're gonna buy these used, please be careful and avoid scams by staying away from too good to be true deals. There are a few websites I trust with used gear purchases, KEH.com, Abe's of Maine, and Adorama. I'll leave those links in the description, and since I'm an affiliate with Adorama, I'll leave some links to used C70s in the description as well. Can't guarantee they'll still be available when you click on them. If you're gonna buy the C70 new, you'll get the camera, the top handle, side microphone mount, and a BPA-30 battery in the box. You're literally ready to shoot if you have a lens and an SD card. If you're buying it used, make sure that you get at least what comes in the box new. I ended up buying a small rig cage for my Canon C70 so that I can build the camera out, adding things like a better top handle, the one that comes with it I don't like, a monitor, and a wireless transmission system. The Canon C70 is a 2-year-old camera, but I think it's still the king of entry-level cinema cameras. And this is just, of course, one man's opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section, but please remember to keep it respectful. As we all know, this camera talk can get a bit ugly amongst us creators. See you in the next video.
Walking like a G, sipping Hennessy, President of Sweet, looking like a young Barack Obama. Skipping to the beat, giving hella heat, I'ma need a seat, just